Hey everyone, it's me, the Anti-Beauty Queen, and today's video is something a little different. I haven't done one of these types of videos on my channel in a really long time. And that would be a movie review, but I am so obsessed with horror movies. I'm so obsessed with horror television shows, music, you know the jazz. I'm obsessed with horror everything, and I love watching movie reviews that have to do with horror movies or action, thriller, whatever. I just thought, why not? There can always be one more female horror guru out in the cyber world, so why not it be me? And I thought I would just start doing some maybe monthly, weekly horror movie updates and talking about all things monsters, ghouls, goblins, witches, and zombies and werewolves. If you clicked on the video, you know this is going to be a Ma review. First horror movie review I've done in a dog's age, and boy oh boy, I have some thoughts. First things first, it did not even come to my hometown theater. How ridiculous is that? I actually had to drive with my husband an hour and a half away just to see this movie, which makes my opinions and thoughts that much more critical because I drove that far to see this. And I am someone who tries to see all types of subgenres when it comes to horror movies. I don't discriminate. I like slasher, paranormal, everything but pretty much torture porn. So I was really excited to see this movie. I love Octavia Spencer. She is so good. And the fact that the same director who directed The Help was also directing this, it was a done deal. So, you know, I do have some notes here on the trusty old phone, and I thought I would go through them because I really want to make this review good. You know what I mean? It's my first one, so let's try to show some justice. But I will be talking about spoilers in this movie. I'm sorry, it's so hard to do an authentic movie review without spoiling a little bit of the plot and backstory and, you know, ending, but I will give you plenty of time to click out of this video and watch one of my other ones. So if you don't know, Ma is centered around Octavia Spencer's character, and she wants to just have some fun. You don't really know why she wants to have so much fun until later on throughout the movie, but all you know is that she is this down on her luck veterinarian assistant, and she's just wanting to kind of spruce up her lifestyle, maybe her social media, because she lives a pretty boring life. And instead of, you know, joining groups like a normal adult would, she centers her focus on a bunch of high schoolers. And the movie really does follow one particular character. Her name is Maggie, and she is played by Diana Silvers, who I don't think I've ever seen her in anything before. She really reminded me of a young Gabby Hoffman who was in like Now and Then. That is one thing I will say about this movie. They got the casting pretty on point. The high schoolers looked like high school students. They acted, behaved, and talked like regular kids. There wasn't any of this 25-year-old person trying to portray a 15-year-old. The casting was pretty awesome. With that being said, the characters didn't make always the best decisions, nor did they make, you know, the smartest sound decisions. And I'm not just talking about Octavia Spencer's character. I'm now going to just refer to her as Ma, but the main cast, the main group of kids really did not make any type of decision I think any normal kid would when put into the situation that they were put into. Now, without going you know, on a tangent right now about the spoilers, I will say the pacing of the movie was a little rough for me. A lot was dragged out through probably the majority of the film. You get all the action, roughly 20 minutes left of the movie, so for that, you know, 100 whatever plus minutes you're sitting there, you are really just watching characters develop, watching the story trying to build itself up as to why Ma's doing this, and they really could have gotten to that fact very early on, and they could have really developed the characters a lot earlier on as well. I will say they did a really great job on giving you the backstory of Ma. Only thing that sucked about it was that it took so long to get there. One of the biggest pet peeves I have in a movie is if you're going to do a backstory, if you're going to do a flashback sequence, don't do it and then give you like 30 seconds of that backstory and then another 25 minutes of film, go back and show you another 2 minutes of backstory. Just put it together, okay? I know you're trying to build suspense, but that's not building suspense in my mind. That's just dragging out a plot line that could be done and over with in like 2 minutes. Now, the director who did this, the last like thriller type movie they have done is Girl on the Train. So I think this is the first time they've ever dipped their toes into horror movies, and I think that's the biggest struggle with this movie. Octavia Spencer is so great. One of the best characters in a long time, because she's this normal woman who is just kind of loopy, kind of crazy. You don't really know what she's capable of doing. And they could have taken it to that crazy level where this could have established itself as a really amazing cult following movie. It's rated R, but really there's nothing other than a few F words to push it to that rated R level. And I think that was one of the biggest downfalls, is that they took it to that extreme for like 2 seconds and then they, you know, they toned it down. And that was, I think, one of the biggest downfalls. And, you know, they could have done so much with this character. They could have done so much with the gore, with the disturbing aspects of her motives and her just abilities, and they really fell flat. I think they were having a trouble with, am I a PG-13 teen slasher movie, or am I a psychological thriller that will appease adults? The only character arc that really did not play for me, and this is a minor spoiler. Alright, spoiler time, click out right now. Okay, so the one character arc that really pissed me off was Octavia Spencer's daughter. Now, we were introduced to her briefly for 30 seconds at the very beginning of the video, the movie, when the main character Maggie kind of shows up and needs to help her get up the little incline in their high school, and you don't think about her ever again. And I understand that's why they did it. They wanted to keep her character a secret until the end. However, with doing that, you build no type of interest in her. You have no sympathy for her. There's no emotion towards this character, and her character is emotionally driven. She is obviously the byproduct of Munchausen by proxy, which we have seen so much lately with the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, The Act on Hulu. Great miniseries. But I really think they were trying to capitalize on that, and that is why they used that backstory. She's confined to a wheelchair, however she can walk, exactly like Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and Ma is making her sick so that she doesn't really have to worry about her. But Ma's backstory shows no signs of why she's doing this, who is the father of this girl, why she's deciding to make her sick, and if she doesn't want her to interact with other students, why have a child in the first place? Now, I know a lot of Ma's insecurities come from her childhood. She was bullied, and she does just assume her daughter will be bullied, but again, there is absolutely no reason, no rhyme or reason as to why she's making her sick. She could have just kept her homeschooled if that was really the case. The other thing that also bothered me was the lack of realism in the story. Ma's character definitely could have been a real person. She could have been that psycho, maybe teen in your past who does pop up in your hometown. But we have to remember, this story is taking place in a smaller hometown where you are led to believe everyone still kind of knows everybody's business. It's not that big of a town, and the fact that she has kind of kept it under wraps, kept it under the radar for so long, while working in what we're supposed to believe is the only veterinary clinic in this town, it's kind of hard that all of a sudden adults she knew in high school are now just starting to realize she's still living in their hometown. It really centers on 3 adult characters, Ben, Mercedes, and Maggie's mom, who all went to high school with Octavia Spencer's character, and the fact that they weren't that nice to her. So really we're getting a little Carrie feel to this vibe. So we are led to believe that no one really knows Ma's backstory as to what she's been doing for the past 15, 20 years. We're just supposed to assume she's stewing on this anger she has towards her one-time fellow peers. The things that Ma does, she does probably 20 minutes to the end of the movie. So all of this build-up, this hour-and-a-half build-up for this 15-minute minuscule scene is kind of a letdown because I feel like they really could have taken it there. She could have done a lot more brutal things to the teenagers, really amped up that psychopathic behavior that's, you know, meddling around in her brain. I do believe the only reason why they had Ma have a daughter is because they needed that one hero to save the day, come and basically take down Ma when all the teenagers are held captive. It was literally as if they said, okay, all the characters are going to be chained up. How are we going to get Ma away from the teenagers long enough for them to be able to escape? A daughter. Let's throw the daughter into the mix. She'll come out of nowhere and save the friggin' day. That was the only reason as to why she existed, and that to me is just a really lazy script. But that is my video. Thanks so much for watching. If you want me to do more kind of horror movie, you know, reviews, spoiler-free or spoilers included, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to catch up on me on social media, my Instagram and Twitter is AuntyBeautyQueen, the same way it's spelt here. And until next time, guys, I will catch you on the flippy flop. Bye!